Greetings, my friends. Today, we're going to tackle the elephant in the room. I don't know if it's an elephant, it's something anyway. Because I always get this question from people after they get PMP certified: Phil, which certificate should I do next? And then when they put on their thinking cap, they narrow it down to Agile. And the question is: Phil, what Agile cert should I do first? So I'm going to give you some insights today. Let's jump straight into the content. After PMP, which agile search should I take first? We're going to unravel a number of things today. We're going to talk about the different certification options that are out there. And then I'm going to narrow it down for those of you who are PMPs and those of you who aren't. So my name's Phil. I've been a project management trainer and coach for past 2 decades. I've got a number of agile certs, as you can see on the screen, and I've done a lot of research. And I keep my ear close to what's going on in the marketplace so I can give you a lot of insights. All right. So that's a little bit about me. I founded Praizion to help people better understand project management. And then that has grown into leadership and communications and agile and many other things. But the common question, once again, is what should I do first? Should I start with CSM, PSM, PMI-ACP? What is the most efficient path to agile mastery? So here's a breakdown. You want to take this from someone. Let me tell you my story. I got PMP certified in 2005 before a lot of you even knew what PMP was. Some of you had been in the game before me, but the people who'd been in the game longest, they hadn't really gotten into the world of agile until PMI started pushing agile a lot harder, a lot more. So 2017, the Agile Practice Guide came out, and that started making us predictive people pay more attention to that world. But before that, I'd started getting affiliated with the Scrum Alliance. So I got my CSM in 2011. And that opened my eyes to the world of Agile. But I had so many things swirling around in my head. And as embarrassing as it is to say, while I got my CSM and I was certified, I did not understand the knowledge that I had. You ever been there where you got knowledge and you pass an exam, but you feel like a fake and a flake? So even though I had the philosophies kind of swirling around, they were not organized. So I went around like that for a long time until I was able to meet my mentor and coach in the world of Agile, who took on the mantle since my Scrum trainer, Tom, did a great job laying the foundation, got certified. But then I wandered around aimlessly for many years as far as the Agile world was concerned. For predictive, I was doing good. I was getting employment, I was mowing it down, but Agile was just pathetic. So I had an understanding, a basic understanding of change driven versus predictive. But if you ask me to give you a full blown account of how is Agile different from everything else, what is the difference between Agile and Scrum, what is the difference between Kanban and Scrum, Kanban and Agile, pathetic. And it's okay. It's okay because I knew I needed help. So when my buddy Roy became my coach and I began training along with him, I began seeing all my blind spots. That's my cautionary note to everyone who has any certification. I don't care whether it's ACP, PSM, CSM, CSPO, PSPO, SPS, whatever it is. It's one thing to have a certification, but it's another thing to be able to explain the details, unravel the mysteries. I could not. So I want to caution you, it's not about the certificate. It's not about saying, oh, I've got an ACP. Look, I had an ACP because Roy was encouraging me, get an ACP, get an ACP. So I got my ACP, but I hadn't worked close enough with my buddy Roy to really understand, okay, I got a CSM, I got an ACP. But what is the difference between Scrum and Kanban, Kanban and Agile, Scrum and Agile? I hadn't narrowed it down until I started working with Roy, he started mentoring me, coaching me, helping me, showing me, until we started building courses together. And I'm not saying everyone needs to get there because tonight I'm going to show you the things I was blowing past like a maniac on the freeway. I'm going to show you tonight. Okay, I'm going to give you an Agile 101. A Scrum 101 from a predictive traditional junkie. Who's gone rogue now? I've gone rogue. I'm going to show you all that stuff. So let's jump back into the content, my friends. So, this is the common question I get. What I would recommend you do first is go for an Agile Basics course. That's number one. Grasp the key concepts of Scrum, the key concepts of Kanban and Agile, even before you go for any certification. Gain some confidence in what exactly is this Agile thing. So, if you're here tonight, you're in the right place because I'm going to give you a 101 course, okay, in the world of Agile, okay? So, once you get that base, you can go to a second layer, which is going deeper. You could go for a primer, like at agileaficionado.com. My buddy Roy has got training on there with me that will help prime you further. But after you go for the basics, this is the piece nobody wants to talk about because people get all emotional. I would recommend, first of all, right, after you've gone for a basics course and you know the difference between Agile, you know the Agile Manifesto values, you know the principles, you know what exactly Scrum is because you've read the Scrum guide, you've been trained on what Scrum is, you understand Kanban at that level, then you can go for CSM. And I know people are not going to like what I have to say, but I got to say it. I got to say it. You need to go for the CSM first. Why am I saying go for the CSM first? Not because I did it, okay? Because something was missing for me. Still a blockhead. Nothing. Nothing at home. Agile ignorant. Until I understood the very bare basics, okay? So the reason why I'm saying go for CSM first, I think one of our friends came in. Tech Knowledge, how are you? Good to see you on here. Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad you're here. Awesome, awesome. So, as far as the CSM is concerned, the reason why I want you to do it first is the Agile Manifesto Value Principle. Number one, it says our highest priority is to satisfy the customer. Now, I'm going to make you the customer through early and continuous delivery of what? Valuable product. If I am truly your friend, I'll show you where the value is. And the value is in understanding that the CSM certification, number one, is low hanging fruit. It's not as laborious. They do a good job in the training. You hear what I'm saying? You go for training. You don't become CSM magically by going into an exam without going into the training. You got to do the training first. And that forms the base. But hey, ask questions when you go for CSM. Don't be like me. Pay attention. I think I sometimes have attention problems. Pay close attention to everything that is being said and ask the instructor what you don't know. Honestly, I went in there and there were people who knew more than me. So what did I do? I shut up instead of asking more copious questions. I should have. So I ended up getting certified, but the certification almost didn't pass entirely through, which is why I was a bit of an agile blockhead. So don't do what I did. Get the basics before going to CSM and then ask copious questions. And then network. There were avenues to network. And I really didn't understand the nitty gritty. I don't know why. Maybe I got to class late. I don't know. Maybe I just had attention issues. But today, I'm going to make that right by showing you what I blew past. The things I blew past that made me agile ignorant, I'm going to show you tonight. Now, why else am I saying go for CSM first? I'm saying go for CSM first because when you go on the job boards, let's get on the job boards. Let's go there right now. When you get on the job boards like monster.com, careerbuilder.com, and things like that, indeed.com, and you look for CSM, actually, let's just look for Agile and let's look for Scrum Master. Okay, let's look for those key terms. And I should actually look everywhere. So let's take Mesa, Arizona out. Those are the cookies working there. But let's take all that out. and let's see what Monster can come up with. It's just a standard job search. So it says Scrum Master, actively hiring. Let's click on that. So what are they looking for? Uh-oh, certified Scrum Master. Let's scroll down. Let's see what else it has here. 2 to 4 years experience as a Scrum Master. Scrum Master. Hey, 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 hey. Let's take a close look. Take a close look. Close look. It said Scrum Master certification. Are you getting what I'm saying? It didn't say professional Scrum Master certification. It didn't say Agile Certified Practitioner certification. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to help you. Okay. Go for your CSM. That should be the first thing on your agenda. Go in there with an understanding, ask questions, beef up your knowledge. The Scrum Alliance, they got all sorts of courses round the clock. Am I happy with the 2 year? You got to pay. I don't know how much you got to pay now. They hit me up saying mine has expired. Yeah, while I'm not entirely enthused about that, you still got to do your CSM. It's a rites of passage. Do it, get the knowledge, get it down on your resume. And when you go looking for jobs like Scrum Master jobs, you're not going to be impeded by that. Okay. In as much as people hate to hear it, it is the gold standard. Okay. You usually see certified Scrum Master. Okay. Now, right next to certified Scrum Master, you can see it says safe preferred. I wouldn't work in such a job. Here's why: I do not believe in what safe has to offer. Now, I know a lot of people aren't going to like it because a lot of you got drunk the safe Kool-Aid. Go to safedelusion.com. Begin to educate yourself as to why safe is really not preferred. Now, on this job post, it says safe preferred. I just saved myself the stress. I ain't going to apply for this job. So you want to look for a job. You got to be selective. Otherwise, you're pulling your hair out like a lot of people are mentoring right now. A lot of people are mentoring and coaching in Scrum. They're fed up. Why? Because their company's drunk the stupid Kool-Aid and now they're doing this safe nonsense. So you have a lot of people pulling their hair out. They know how agile is, but safe is anti-agile as far as how it's been implemented. I know someone that I interviewed on this channel. He had tons of safe certifications. He said, ethically speaking, I cannot continue like this. So for those of you drinking the safe Kool-Aid, well, good luck to you. I ain't drinking it. I ain't recommending you drink it. So going back to the world of Agile, if you are looking to get sensibly into it, have a base education in Agile, go for CSM. I'm really grateful that I met my Agile Scrum CSM coach, Tom, because he got me passionate about this world of Agile. And he gave me a lot of history, a lot of where the bodies are buried in the world of Agile. There are a lot of stories. And Tom Mellor, shout out to Tom. You know, if Tom was still training this stuff, I would have said, consider going for his course. And there are a number of Agile Scrum coaches I've worked with. Um, Another great one is my buddy Bob, call him Scrum Bob. And Bob is a great Agile Scrum coach as well, who was trained for Praizion. So there's a number. If you're looking, you know, if you got any idea of, okay, whose Scrum training should I go for, Phil? Let me see if I can share Bob's information with you. I'm going to try to pull it up because he's a really splendid CSM coach as well. Let's see. I'm going to drop his information in there. Okay. I'll try to do that before we get off the call. Because what I do now, I don't just recommend to people, oh, go for any old CSM course. No, I get very prescriptive about who I think you should go for, whose train I think you should go to. So let's put Bob's information in here. He's a really caring and great coach. Oh, I'm coming, Technology. So Technology says, is PSM no good? No, I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm going to explain it all to you. I promise. So I want to recommend my buddy Scrum Bob. Bob Schatz is a really great Scrum Coach. Just look for his information. When you go to LinkedIn, try and connect with him, if you're able. And if you're not able, look for him on Scrum Alliance. Tell him Phil sent you. Go for his training. Okay. It's a great Scrum coach. So, going back to where we are, the certified Scrum Master, CSM, is a low hanging fruit. It's not crazily expensive. It used to be a lot more expensive, but it's not anymore. It builds foundational Scrum knowledge. You have a live instructor, which is what I like. Use the live instructor advantage. Ask questions. It's instructor led. You got sessions of interactive learning. It's widely recognized in agile circles. And because it's your buddy Phil, I'm telling you, get it first. So when you go on all these sites like monster.com, indeed.com, even on LinkedIn, and you're looking for all of these jobs, let's look for another one. Let's look for another one here, another Scrum, and it just says Scrum Master, and you just gotta go for it. But again, my recommendation, I'm gonna put this in the chat. Um, for those of you who are drinking the safe Kool-Aid, you gotta understand what you're drinking. So you're drinking poisonous stuff. And then you're gonna argue, you're gonna come hit me in the chat and say, Phil, you don't know what you're talking about. I know very well what I'm talking about. Go watch the interviews of people who are dabbling into this world. Anyway, that's enough for CSM. Let's move on to PSM. Why do I say take PSM next? Well, if you know the history in the world of Agile, you know the Scrum Guide was actually put out there for free by the two awesome co creators of Scrum, Ken Schwaber and Jeff Sutherland. And if you have not read the Scrum Guide, oh my goodness, we need to get you a copy of the Scrum Guide. You see, the really cool thing about these guys, I know people are going to argue with me that they are not heroes. They're going to quote the Japanese professors, the awesome people who went before them. But that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is they could have made this highly commercialized. Yes, of course, they benefited from it, but they've put this out for free. Let's go into the Scrum Guide. So, the Scrum Guide, Ken Schwaber and Jeff Sutherland are the authors. Ken Schwaber's company, Scrum.org, is behind PSM, and that's my point. So, you can read up a little bit more about both of them. This is Ken's bio. Ken co developed the Scrum process with Jeff in the early 1990s to help organizations struggling with complex development projects. One of the signatories to the Agile Manifesto in 2001, he subsequently founded the Agile Alliance and Scrum Alliance. Recently left the Scrum Alliance to found Scrum.org. So a lot of people still have beef with that. Good luck to you. Get over it. 30-year veteran of the software development industry, from bottle washer to boss. He's written 3 books about Scrum, Agile software development with Scrum, Agile project management with Scrum, and the enterprise and Scrum. He lives in Lexington, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So you get the idea of who is behind the certification, the PSM. Now, the professional Scrum Master, PSM1, because you got PSM1, PSM2, PSM3. The PSM1 certification is like your street cred. I know a lot of people are gonna not like what I have to say, but I'm very agnostic because I've been in the world of predictive and now the world of agile. So I really don't care what people think, but I'll just tell it like it is. So what I've noticed in the industry, the PSM cert is like your street cred. You got the CSM and that's all well and good, but if you're a real G, you can kill the PSM. You can tackle the beast. And it's a very ferocious exam because you got 80 questions in 60 minutes. So it's somewhat crazy for those people who are slow readers like me. When you get to question 60, you better check your clock because it's like you're running out of time. And by the way, these 3, I've taken all 3, so I'm able to speak credibly to all 3 of them and beyond. I've taken a lot of exams on Ken Schwaber's website. So let's go without much ado, because I know you're itching to see what this PSM is all about. So PSM is a very ferocious exam. It's just like you're trying to be roughed up by some street guy, and you fight back because it's a very vicious exam. The time is very vicious. Even those who say, "Oh, I got almost everything right on the test," yeah, still, it's like a marathon and a sprint all in one. So Ken is very. What I like about Ken's approach, he's like, we're going to put this out there, and we're not going to challenge people to put the cameras on them. So this exam is not proctored. You don't have cameras on you, but it will be foolish to, number one, fool yourself by getting someone else to take the test for you. You're shooting yourself in the foot. Because on LinkedIn, I don't know if you've gotten hit up by some idiots who think that this is the way to pursue a profession, a career, by saying, "Oh, we can take the exam for you." Even the PMP, you have some crazy people saying they can take the exam for you. So you're just killing your career if anyone engaging in that. So Ken doesn't it's not proctored like the breathing down your neck with a camera, like the PMP or the ACP. And nothing against that, but I'm just saying the philosophy is different, right? In the world of Agile, your fakery will find you out. There's only so much fakery you can put on. So anyone taking the PSM, it's on them, right? It's a very cheap exam. It's $200 for each attempt. In the past, I think it was a little bit lower. But what I like about what Ken does, he makes it affordable and available. And if you're really serious, the passing score is 85%, 60-minute, 80 questions, multiple choice. The questions are not, they're not a cakewalk. A lot of people fail this exam. It roughs people up. If you don't, I remember the time I took this exam, and I told Roy, I passed the exam. He said, you probably do know you're agile now, don't you? You got to remember, he's my agile coach. So he encouraged me to go for this exam, and I went for it. But I didn't just go for the PSM. I took the PSM, I let it digest. And then I decided to go for the PSPO because I wanted to challenge myself even more. And I'll just say at this point, even if you are a product owner, it behooves you to go for the CSM first. And if you wanted to go for the CSPO, which I didn't put on this radar chart, you can go for the CSPO. Great knowledge is only going to help you. And then you can go for the equivalent, the PSM and the PSPO. A lot of people may not agree with what I have to say about it being a street cred exam, but I know it is. If you're a real G, you can kill the PSM. If you're a little bit half baked or not fully seasoned, Ken's exam is wild. So I took the PSM, I took the PSPO, I took the PAL, Professional Agile Leadership on Ken's site. And since my clients were asking a lot about scaling, I noticed Ken had the Nexus Guide and the Scaled Professional Scrum. So I ended up taking the Scaled Professional Scrum because I wanted to get into his head and see what he was thinking, and all the people that work with him, I want to get into their heads. So I actually put out a very extensive video on the Nexus Guide. You can find it if you just Google Nexus Guide Praizion or SPS Praizion or Phil. You should be able to find the video that I put out a couple of years ago. So as you can tell, I'm very passionate about the world of Agile because I've had clients that have gone to the la la lands, the, I don't know, the bin, right? So I'll just put it that way. They've gone to the dark side. You're doing all this scrum, safe scrum stuff, they call it. So I'm very passionate. I don't want the rest of my clients to go down a blind alley and think that these other alternatives are the way out. They're not. If you really want to scale, I would say, first of all, think agnostically. I think on Praizion.com, we have a course. My buddy Roy and I put out a course there. It's called Common Sense Scaling. So learn the common sense way of scaling first, agnostic. A lot of people, they don't even descale. They're just thinking of scaling for no, you don't even need to be in that world. Your singular teams are garbage. What are you scaling? You're scaling nonsense. You should focus on the right stuff. which is what I'm going to show you today. All right. So, the PSM certification, I believe it's a really good one if you really want to prove that street cred and you really want an exam that will grill you. The PSM is a great exam to take. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Finally, we get to PMI-ACP. Now, why is ACP last on the radar? Number one, it is quite expensive. It's quite expensive. So, one failed attempt, you're in trouble. The other reason is if you go to a lot of these job boards in economies of scale, in economies of popularity, you are going to first of all find like all these boards, monster.com, dice.com, indeed.com. You're going to find in economies of popularity CSM, PSM, and you'll be fortunate to find an ACP mention. Okay. Now, that shouldn't trouble you if, watch this, that should not trouble you if the reason for you going for ACP is not for clout, but for the process and the journey. You get what I'm saying? If you're going for ACP for clout, there's no one in the stadium. Sorry. You're just going to do your home run and you ain't going to get no cheers because a lot of the recruiters don't even know it exists, let alone care. But if you're in it because you want the knowledge and the more robust build out of understanding and the different options that are available to you as an agilist, when you go, watch this, for the right ACP training. The ACP certification is only as good, only as valuable as the training you went for. If you went for crummy one a penny to a penny training, and honestly, I just be frank. If you don't have an agile mentor coach that knows the ropes, explaining stuff to you, you're just freewheeling thinking. Because I believe a lot of the agile world is tacit knowledge. It's not explicit. You think you got it, but you don't got it. And then you start making all these blunders. But if you went for solid ACP training, like my buddy Roy and I, before the exam changed, we had a course out there, agileprinciple.com. It's still out there. This course will grill you for all your worth. This will make you a sensible, minted, knowledgeable, pragmatic ACP. But we're not training the course live anymore. And we did not update it because we felt the updates were outside of what we believed should be presented in the Agile arena. But the previous course is out there. It's called agileprinciple.com. If you want to take the course, it's out there. Okay. And then we also have the smaller course, agileaficionado.com. But coming back to the ACP, it is only as good as a training you went for. If you're looking to get a job, you'll be fortunate to find a hiring manager that says, "Oh, I know what that is. You got ACP, fantastic." Now, I know that there are a lot of PMPs and a lot of ACPs, about 60,000 or so. So it's possible you run into someone who actually knows what the certificate is all about. But if you don't, the real value from the ACP, it has to come from the training. Because when you get your ACP certificate in the world of Agile, no one cares. Compared to the CSM, compared to the PSM, so I've trained a number of people for the ACP. And my focus with my buddy Roy when we trained these folks was not to just get ACP. I got ACP. I was still an agile dummy. Are you listening to what I'm saying? It's not about taking a test. I was agile ignorant, pathetic. I look back and I'm like, oh my goodness, thank you, Lord, for Roy. Thank God for Roy. Because if Roy hadn't come into my world, I'd have had all these certifications, but they wouldn't have passed through me the way they have. He has made it pragmatic. I have practiced this stuff. I've put it into my pipeline, into production, right? I am now a seasoned practitioner. I had the certificates, but I wasn't. And that's why if you're thinking of going for ACP, I'll just say be careful that you don't base your hopes on, okay, I get ACP and the world of opportunity is going to. No, your best bet is CSM for that. CSM, get CSM and then make it pragmatic. Begin to apply agile principles and values to your world. I apply agile principles and values to everything I do, even if I'm doing a minute project. I'm going to be applying those. They've now become ingrained. So you can tell what is agile and what is not, even in the real world. And as far as Scrum is concerned, it's a very helpful framework. And as you begin to go more into the world of Agile, you see that you can use Scrum with a Kanban view to the world that you're in, but you don't have to use a Kanban board. Okay. Another myth I would like to dispel is using Jira makes you an agilist. It does not. Jira is just a conduit for tickets. What makes you agile is not the software, it's not the version one, it's not the rally, it's not the Trillos. It's up here, your mindset. So I often say agile is not a methodology, it's not a framework. It is a mindset, a philosophy that enables you pivot to the ever changing world around you. You got to pivot. That's the thing about agile. Agile requires action, but it starts off in the mind. Okay. I'm going to show you some examples today as we go through just to make sure that this sticks. So, in economies of scale, my friends, CSM gets you quickly started. PSM builds deeper Scrum expertise. The ACP expands your agile toolbox. And I will say, go to the best course. Our course was the best course, but we're not doing live or Zoom training anymore. We're not happy with the syllabus, but we got the old one out there. Go to agileprinciple.com. It's out there. Or if you want a basic course on vanilla flavored agile before you begin your journey, go to agileaficionado.com. The agileaficionado.com, it'll take you straight into the program and you can begin studying with us right away. So right over here, we've got the Agile Aficionado course. It'll get you straight in. But I don't even want to wait till then. I want to actually hit you up with some stuff tonight for those of you who are on the call so that when you're getting off the call, you're already thinking in a more agile way. Okay. So agility. Agility is the key to survival in business. Mike Tyson said everyone has a plan until they're punched in the face. Everyone had a plan till COVID sucked people in the face, sucked companies in the face. And then where were they? Nowhere. The law of adaptability, businesses that fail to evolve fade into history. Those that embrace change will be able to compete and survive. Agility is not an option, it's a necessity. You think about the giants that fell, the likes of Kodak, right? Blockbuster, Circuit City, Toys R Us. These are examples, many companies that came long ago, but they did not survive. Unfortunately, they did not adapt. Kodak said, oh, we want our hardware to stand the test of time. We're not going to go digital. Where are they? Blockbuster, they ignored online streaming. Netflix is now the king of the hill. Hollywood is at their feet begging, give us a part, give us a part. I mean, that's what agility is about, right? Circuit City, they were not very quick to go online. Amazon ate them for lunch. Toys R Us, Amazon ate them for lunch. TM Lewin, one of my favorites, they almost went completely under. The assets had to be purchased. So when you think of these stories, Blockbuster versus Netflix, or you think about Circuit City versus Amazon, or you think about the businesses that survived, it's very evident. Apple, they ate Kodak for lunch. Who would have thought, right? What about Tesla? Who would have thought, right? So agility is all about pivoting. Darwin's law applies to business. It's not the strongest of the species that survives, is it? Nor the most intelligent. It's the ones that are most adaptable to change. So we got to be innovative. We got to be ready to pivot. We got to be ready to harness things like AI. Got to be able to harness other technologies. Contrary to what a lot of people think, you don't have to be predictive all the time or agile all the time. But you do need to understand when you are in a simple space, bottom left, the pink, right? And then when you're in anarchy, top right, something's got to give. And the best way to handle the anarchy is to bring things into normalcy by breaking them down into pieces, iterations, plan in iterations, work in iterations, deliver incrementally. And for Agile to work, there has to be buy in. Some companies are at war with Agile. I wish them the best. Some companies don't even want to entertain Agile thinking. But PMI's research has shown that if you are Agile in your thinking and predictive in your delivery, you will do a lot better because it's all about the thinking. You take a look at traditional project management versus Agile. Traditional is fixed, linear, and step by step, and that's okay. I don't demonize traditional because it has its place. My buddy Colin was saying, Phil, I just finished a schedule for a nuclear plant shutdown. Thousands and thousands of lines of steps. How long were some of the steps? 15 seconds. You have to be precise when you're dealing with high risk, possible loss of life, and things like that. So, predictive has its place. Let's not demonize predictive. Some people call it waterfall. I don't call it waterfall. I do my best to remember it is predictive, it's traditional, right? Because waterfall, if you look at the Rolls Royce model, it actually had feedback loops. So it's incorrect to demonize traditional, disparagingly call it waterfall. That's for the ignorant. So traditional has its place, agile has its place, right? In traditional, we do avoid change for obvious reasons, such as described. We're involved mostly at the beginning and the end if we're customers, but in the world of agile, the customer is all throughout involved. The deliverables are delivered at the end of the project most of the time in traditional. In agile, we deliver them in small increments. And while we get fixated on the schedule and the budget and so on, in the world of agile, we are also concerned with those things, but we tackle them on an iterative basis. And instead of getting into the do loop of, oh, the Gantt chart, we focus more on a time box and a cadence that's agreed upon. So, in the world of Agile, we often ask the question to our students, which of these do you think is most critical for project success? And you know the answer we get most of the time? The answer we get from our PMPs is one, two, and three. Deliver on time, deliver on budget, deliver all planned scope. But do you know that is a misnomer? In the world of Agile, our highest priority is to satisfy the customer. We say build projects around motivated individuals, team members. Give them the environment and support they need. Trust them to get the job done. It's a philosophy, it's a mindedness. So when we look at this, we're not looking at one, two, and three. We're looking at the bottom three. We're looking at team satisfaction. If the team is satisfied, likely customers' needs are going to be met. All right. Not all plan scope, but the customer's needs, because those could change. So what you're planning in the beginning, in the world of agile, it morphs and changes. And then we also want you to think of meeting quality requirements. The Agile Manifesto was introduced in 2001. These 17 awesome individuals, they were fed up of doing it same old, especially in technology projects where the technology changes and then everything goes downhill. So they wanted to capture at source the essence, the mindedness of how work should be done in a more adaptive manner. And it says we are uncovering better ways of developing product. Really says software, but we edited it because now this world of agile is not just affecting software, it's affecting everywhere. We got clients in construction, we got clients in oil and gas, we got clients in the education space, and guess what? They are all pivoting to agile, all pivoting. So we changed this so that it can make more sense for them. We're uncovering better ways of developing product by doing it and helping others do it. Through this work, we've come to value. Watch this. Watch this. This is a question for you. And the question is, what do you value more? What do you value most? Do you value food or do you value water? Okay, let me give you a scenario. You are in the middle of the desert, close to where I live, the Arizona desert. Which one would you value more? A steaming, hot bowl of food or water? The intelligent people in the room will give me The answer, water. Or I should say, the experienced people. Some people have never experienced going without water. So you survive longer with water, right? So going back to this, it says we're uncovering better ways of developing product by doing it and helping others do it. Through this work, we've come to value individuals and interactions. I value individuals and interactions over processes and tools. It did not say I am choosing to use only individuals and interactions, not processes and tools. It didn't say that. It's not instead of, it just says over, value over. It didn't say choose instead of. You get what I'm saying? So all the stuff on the right is still good, it's still valuable. It's just that the things on the left are more valuable. So individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Why? Because processes and tools are only as good as the individuals and interactions behind them. Working product over comprehensive documentation, because you could have all the documentation in the world if the product isn't working. What a waste. And in a lot of projects, we have redundant documents. So we value one over the other. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Again, it's a thing of value. Don't you value collaborating with the customer instead of haggling price and scope and schedule? When you have the collaboration mindset, the negotiation goes smoother because you're coming in with the right attitude. Responding to change over following a plan. Mike Tyson said it well. Everyone has a plan until they're punched in the face. So, what I'm trying to show you here is the high level view of the Agile Manifesto. Let's go to the next page really quick. So, the very first one, individual interactions over process and tools. People solve problems. Processes enable, should enable, not hinder. That's the mindset. Working product over comprehensive documentation, focus on delivering value, not excessive paperwork. Engage with users frequently. That's the mindset when we say customer collaboration. And adaptability leads to success in fast changing environments. Okay, there's slow changing environments, but this is a world of agile, and that's the mindset. Let's go very quickly to the principles. So I'll go over them really quick, starting from number one. If you need to go back and watch the video. You're going to be able to watch the video after this, but I'll just give you the top of the waves. So number one, satisfy the customer. It should be your highest priority. If you deliver to the customer early, it's good. Let me give you this scenario. You come across someone on the side of the road. Come across a guy on the side of the road. He says, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I just need a little bit of food. Just give me a little bit of food. I'm hungry. And you say, oh, well, I'm a predictive project manager. Let me go away and prepare you the best meal ever. This is going to be a three-course meal. It's going to have a very robust entree. It's going to have a very robust dessert. You're going to love it. And you go away for 3 months, 4 months to prepare that three-course meal. And by the time you come back, the poor guy has expired. On the flip side, the scrum master in the world of Agile comes along and says, oh, I see you're hungry. Well, first and foremost, let me get you a glass of water. And then you deliver that. Let me get you a little snack to ebb you into it gradually. Delivers that in the next few weeks. Unlike the predictive project manager, and I'm not trying to demonize predictive, I'm trying to show you the difference and why in the world of Agile, this is our demeanor. This is why we think this way, right? Our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early. In my example, the guy at the roadside who encountered the traditional PM, he wasn't about to deliver early. But in my example of the Agile PM or the Scrum Master said, okay, let me work with my team and deliver something real quick to you. Because value delivery is of the essence. Sometimes the business is about to fold or there's a crazy situation going on. So we want early and continuous delivery. Early, but we don't want you to stop. Don't stop the party. Keep bringing the cake, keep bringing the dessert. It's okay, but at least deliver value. And the reason why we want it early so we can get feedback and pivot accordingly, okay? So there's a reason why that is number one. That is the one that the Agile Manifesto team put first. It's for a reason. It's the mindedness, early and continuous delivery of valuable product. All right, let's breeze through the rest very quickly. Welcome changes even late in development. It could help the customer. Number three, deliver working product frequently from a couple of weeks to a couple of months. The shorter, the better, so we can get feedback and pivot. Number four, business people and developers should work together daily. We're working in short sprints every 2 weeks. We're looking at getting a potentially shippable increment, so we better be working together frequently. Number five, build projects around motivated individuals. Have you ever tried building a project around a demotivated team? See how that works for you. So it makes sense, right? Number six, face to face conversation is great. It's valued. Now, some people will argue, but if you remember Professor Emeritus Albert Merabian's 55-38-7, when there's no congruence with the words, tone of voice, and body language, what do people weigh the most? The body language, as much as 55%. It carries a lot of weight. So when you're in the room with people, things go a lot easier in terms of you can read the room, you can read the body language, you can read what is not said. The content richness of being face to face is so high, it's ridiculous. Like during COVID, when everyone was behind Zoom and the cameras were off, you feel the low energy if you were a trainer or coach, or even if you worked in an office. When you are in a room with your peers and your coworkers, you just feel that there's an energy shift. There's an energy shift. Some teams are really good at doing this online, but not everyone is there. But naturally, as humans, we wired to be in the same place. We were not born with Zooms, with cameras stuck to our foreheads. So we gravitate more towards being in the same place. As early as the cavemen, that's how they communicated. So we're wired that way. All right. Number seven, working product is the primary measure of progress. In this world of Agile, we measure success by done. It's not a question of, are you 99% done? Oh, you've really done well. No, in the world of Agile, you're either done or not. So we don't get hung up on percent completes like we do in traditional. And nothing wrong with that. It has its place. All right, Agile processes. Number eight, promote sustainable development. Just sustain the pace. Don't kill the team. Just get a pace that you can sustain and go accordingly. Don't do the crazy overtime. I know sometimes you might have to, but as much as possible, avoid it because it's going to ruin your velocity anyway. So as much as possible, constant pace, realistic stuff. Number nine, continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. Right? The more technically excellent you are, the more you cut out the muda, the waste. Number 10, simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not done. Do you see that? It's not the amount of work done. You want to maximize the amount of work not done. So it's a mindedness. You want to aggressively cut out the fat. In the world of Six Sigma, we call it muda. You want to cut out the muda. So much muda in our processes, documentation that shouldn't even be filled, stuff that shouldn't be done, steps that shouldn't be in there. So the mindedness is to cut all that stuff out. Number 11, the best architecture's requirements and designs emerge from self organizing teams. And I know some managements have problem with that. Self organizing, what does that even mean? So we want to give the team the autonomy to get the work in, but they decide how the work is going to be done. They call the shots on the work, as opposed to traditional where you are pushed work. People push work on you, and then you have this big old pile of work. Instead, in the world of Agile, the team members pull the work to themselves. So it's like a just in time mechanism as opposed to how we do things in the world of predictive. Predictive is push, 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 but in this world, it's pull, right? So we give the team the autonomy, it's self led, it's self policing, it's self managed. And number 12 is the brutal honesty that comes when you leave the team, a mature team to do this at regular intervals. Doesn't have to be every week or every 2 weeks. It could be every day. It could be every second. So it's a mindedness that at regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective. It's usually the last thing done at the end of each iteration or sprint, if you're in the world of Scrum. And then they tune and adjust their behavior accordingly. So, my friends, I just dunked you into the backbone of the world of Agile. I want you to bookmark this video. I want you to smash the like button, and I want you to share it with other people so they understand the Agile Manifesto values and principles. And that is very quick. In our course, we slow down, we go through it a little bit, a little bit slower. So why is Agile in high demand across the industries? Okay, well, it's in high demand because Agile professionals help organizations respond faster to change. Those who are really good at it, they can see through smoke and mirrors of redundant processes. They're going to cut out the muda, they're going to reduce wasted time and improve efficiency. And Agile allows for continuous improvement. Some real world examples: government and policy, small pilot programs, small test initiatives before full rollouts. In military logistics, mission strategies adjust based on real time intelligence. In healthcare, agile crisis response models improve patient care. And in IT modernization, data migration is done incrementally. Just some very basic examples. So, agile is not for IT alone, it is used everywhere, right? Many different examples of agile in government and policy implementation. Let's say a federal agency is implementing new climate policies. They could use Agile to pilot small initiatives, like in my example. So instead of enforcing nationwide regulations overnight, the Agile mind says small pilot programs: test, adjust, expand. In logistics, as in my example, the special forces team could adjust mission strategies based on the real time intelligence. If it was predictive, it would be a rigid plan. But when real time intelligence is coming in, you just be more agile. What about in healthcare? Good example was the crazy COVID. Agile teams could rapidly respond to vaccine distribution models. When it comes to tech and IT, agencies implementing cloud computing use Agile to migrate data incrementally. Instead of shutting down all systems overnight, teams transition departments one by one. They test stability, they get feedback, they put it back into their processes, procedures, and adjust. So a lot of people don't understand that the US government, I guess I need to make sure that this is still up with that crazy Doge-hammer going around. But let me share this with you, the Agile Assessment Guide. Okay. And this has been around for a while. So the sensible thing will be for this to be kept up. I hope it has been kept up. But what I really love what they did, and I told you about my buddy Scrum Bob, right? Bob Shat. So Bob was part of the team that put this together, the Agile Assessment Guide. In fact, I got to know about it because of Bob. So a huge shout out to my buddy Scrum Bob. But what I really love about this is, number one, it is free. I'm going to put a link in the chat right now for those of you who are keen on. Oops. That's it. What have I done? Oh dear. I got to get back in here. Uh, okay. Okay. Did I get lost? I thought I got lost for a second. Okay. Let's do this again. Okay. Am I still here? Can you folks still hear me? Am I in or am I out? I can't even tell where I am right now. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I am here. For a second I thought I got kicked off. Okay, I see what's going on. All right. So let me go ahead and put this in the chat. I was hearing myself a couple of times. Okay. So there you have it, my friends. This is the link to the Agile Assessment Guide. And as I was saying, what I really like about the Agile Assessment Guide is the fact that it's free, and also the fact that it is a government effort. I quite like the fact that the government actually put some money and time, and we had volunteers like Scrum Bob, he's one of the volunteers, but they spent time putting this together. Let me put it on the screen so that we can share it together. All right. So here we go. I hope you only hear me once. Hope you're not hearing me multiple times. But this is the Agile Assessment Guide. So take a look at the table of contents. Really, really cool. You got the background. You got the Agile adoption challenges in federal government. I love this. Agile adoption best practices, overview of Agile execution and control. So you can see it's very pragmatic. Requirements development and management in Agile, Agile and the federal contracting process, Agile and the program monitor and control process, Agile metrics, if you can believe it, earned value actually made its way somewhere in here. But it's a very impressive document, and I was really excited when Scrum Bob introduced me to it. So there you have it. It's a free resource. Highly recommend that you download it and you can use this. Okay. So let's go into a little bit of Scrum because I haven't really gone over Scrum with you. I showed you the Scrum guide and I haven't really shared a lot about Scrum with you. So let's jump straight into Scrum very quick so we can round up. So, what is Scrum? Scrum is a framework, it's a lightweight, easy to understand framework that allows you to take on complex problems and get results in iterative ways. You got the transparency clause, that's a pillar that it's built on. It's built on inspection and it's built on adaptation. And Scrum has been used by millions and millions of organizations across the world. A lot of our clients use it. And honestly, it's not just used in IT, it's used all across the board. Scrum helps teams deliver value quickly and adapt to change. And many professionals actually unknowingly use some forms of Scrum. It's a structured way to implement Agile in real world projects. So if you take a look at this, I'll start off right here in the middle. In the middle, we've got sprint, 1 to 4 weeks, realistically speaking. That is not to say that you couldn't have some teams practicing Scrum in shorter sprints, but a sprint is a time box in which the work gets done. If you move to the left now, you can see the product backlog. The product backlog is a backlog of all the stuff that has to be done. Think of it as a list. And in that list, we've got, in economies of scale, massive tasks. We got small tasks or small requests. The thing about the product backlog, you hear people referring to these as requests. Some agilists refer to them as requirements, but we like to think of them more as customer oriented requests because a requirement is a must do, like the system must, the system shall. But the product backlog in the world of Scrum is not that. It's really a customer oriented request log, if you will, because these things, they might be done and they may not be done depending on the value. And that's why some of you, you've learned the Moscow technique to be able to sift through these and say, what is a must? What is a should? What is a could? What is a would like? Must have, should have, could have, would like. So the product backlog is the first thing you see here on the left. And the product backlog needs to be broken down. It needs to be worked on. And we call this backlog refinement. So early on, before we get into any sprint, there should be an understanding of what exactly is in the backlog. And let's decompose it and break it down so that we can work on it in a sprint. And that takes us to the sprint planning ceremony. The purists will say, it's not a ceremony, it's an event. They take offense. But honestly, I don't care. I just call it event or ceremony. Depends on how I feel on that day. But the bottom line is it's a meeting, right? So the sprint planning event, this is where we're going to break down part of the product backlog, and then we're going to get part of it to work on in that sprint, and that's a sprint backlog. So the sprint backlog is a subset of the product backlog. Not every item in the product backlog will be done, but what is in the sprint backlog, the hope is that it is going to get done in that sprint. As you can see at the top there, we got the daily scrum, right? The daily scrum is where the team meets for 15 minutes every day, same time, same place. If the team is virtual, they can do this as well. But there are three questions that the junior teams, the young teams, they generally start off by everyone going around the room, just the developers, not the scrum master and not the product owner, because we got three roles in Scrum, as you can see on the right. So the product owner knows what is in the backlog and why it's in the backlog. And they are the reason why it's in the backlog because it's from the customer. And the product owner is like a voice for the customer, is like someone representing the customer. Then we have the Scrum Master, who's like the coach. And then we have the developers or development team that we loosely refer to as team on this slide. So in the daily scrum, it's a development team really that speak, that share ideas, that say, okay, this is what I did yesterday to move us towards the goal, or since our last meeting to move us towards the goal. This is what I'm going to work on today to move us towards the sprint goal. And these are the impediments that I'm facing. So this is not where you bring in people from outside, you bring in customers. No, except for any particular reason the team agrees for some exceptions. You generally don't want the senior management there. You generally just want product owner could be there, scrum master could be there, the developers are there, and they're the people who are really doing the speaking. The scrum master is taking note, product owner is looking on, taking note. But as teams get more mature, the product owner could at some point decide, okay, I'm not going to be here because maybe they've got multiple teams they're working with. Even the scrum master may not be in the daily scrum. You see, there's this misnomer that the scrum master must be in every daily scrum from now till forever. But if they're working with multiple teams, as they do get worn quite thin in some companies, they could leave the development team to do it themselves. Okay. All right. With that said, that's the daily scrum, but that's not the only way the daily scrum could be done. You could decide to walk the board, which is a different way. If you have a Kanban board, you start with the items closest to being done, and whoever owns that could speak to what is preventing us from getting this to done, what are the impediments in our way, and such and such. All right. And then we have backlog refinement, as you can see, which could happen in the middle of the sprint. And the reason why it's grayed out is because it's optional, doesn't always have to be. You could rely on the product owner to do this, but it's good practice for everyone to be in the room for many reasons, which I won't get into here. But it's not one of the mandatory events that you see described in the Scrum Guide. All right, then we have a sprint review event, and this is where we've now gotten the potentially shippable increment, and this is where the customer, the stakeholders, they're going to review the increment, they're going to comment, they're going to find additional requests that could possibly make their way, they're going to be honest, and we look at this as a working meeting, not just a demo. Some people call it a demo, and I don't begrudge them, but it's more than a demo. It's a working meeting. It's where you're getting feedback, and it's where you're collaborating with the customer and paying close attention. And then lastly, we have the sprint retrospective, which is where the team sits back, retrospects, look at what they did well, what didn't they do so well. This is where there's honesty, accountability. This is where the team could be open and frank and sincere with each other without having a bruised ego or being hurt. This is where a mature team will take time out to have fun. This is where you could play some games. Some of the retrospectives that my clients do, they would bring food, they would do a where you from day, bring food from that place. This is where we get into some really nice team building and teamwork, but really honest accountability as well. This is where we bare hearts, bare souls. So that's Scrum at a high level. We got three roles: product owner, Scrum Master, and the developers. We got five events, and we got three artifacts: the product backlog, the sprint backlog, and the increment. All right. So the rhythm of work, there we have it, the daily stand up. We want to understand the blockers. So when we have the daily stand up is not where we are going to resolve the blockers, but it is where we recognize the blockers. We got to take time out after the meeting to actually go after those impediments. And usually the Scrum Master can help with that. The Scrum artifacts, as I said, we got three: product backlog, sprint backlog, and an increment. And then we're into the world of Kanban. Kanban is going to go very quick because I got to get off this call shortly. But Kanban is a framework as well. It's a visual workflow, it's a management system that tracks work, and it's great at optimizing productivity when done well, reducing bottlenecks. It originated in lean manufacturing at Toyota. It's now used across industries. The guy who worked on this, came up with the idea, Taichi Ono. He observed the American supermarket system and how it worked in a more pull based way. So there's kind of like a signal to replenish, and that's really what Kanban is based on. Kanban boards help you track work. I love Kanban. I use Kanban all the time. Three very simple blocks. Let me get straight into it. You got to do, doing, and done. So as your work is coming in, it stays in the to do. When you begin doing it, you push it into doing, and it serves as a great reminder, great visual indicator of what is being worked on. And when it gets to done, you push it into done. Now you can break down your Kanban board into other lanes, into sub processes. You could say to do, in progress, review, and done, if that's your world. So you could break it down like this. You can also add a blocked column so that if you have any work that is blocked, You want it to be very visible, and the team knows, and whoever's resolving that impediment understands. So here's another example from a federal logistics team. And how Kanban works with workflow efficiency is it reduces multitasking. One of the things that we do in this world, at each lane, at the top of each lane, we have what we call WIP limits, work in progress limits. So if we have a number on top of in progress, it means you cannot have more than that number in the in progress column or in the review column and such and such. It speeds up delivery and improves accountability. Final thoughts: Kanban provides a visual way to track and optimize work. It limits work in progress, shows better efficiency, and Kanban can be used for career growth, can be used for job searches, and many things. Very quick word before I jump off the call. Some of you are looking to pivot your career. If that's you, we got a program at career.pmsucceed.com. We started that today. It helps people to elevate their careers, whether you're a project manager, whether you are a scrum master, whether you're a director, VP, whatever. We're going to take people to that next level in their careers. Okay, so that's available at career.pmsucceed.com. And for those of you that were not here when I first of all made it clear that we have a course in the world of Agile, our course is called agileaficionado.com. So if you go to agileaficionado.com, you'll be able to take this course right here. If what I've shared has piqued your interest and you want to learn more about Agile, you want to get into that world, go on down to agileaficionado.com. And if you're stuck, one of the cool things about Agile Aficionado, it's a good primer for all of the certifications that I showed you here. For those who were not here when I covered it, the order should be CSM, PSM, ACP. There are reasons. There are reasons. I know I have a lot of ACP fans. Hey, I got the ACP as well. So don't feel offended when I say take it last. Listen to what I said, okay? That is my own perspective and that is my own rationale. Any questions on anything I shared? Any concerns? Now's a great time to share them. My friends on Instagram, where are you? Oh dear, did I lose my friends on Instagram? Okay, I see you. My friends on Instagram, Anthony Akua, just looking to laugh. Thank you for coming through. What about my friends on YouTube, on LinkedIn? Any questions? Any concerns that I can answer? Don't be a stranger. Did you get Bob's information? Because I said those of you, so I shared a few links. That's a link to the Agile Assessment Guide. And then there's also a link from a buddy, Scrum Bob. If you want to take the CSM, look for Bob on the Scrum Alliance site. To my friend who came through earlier, Tech Knowledge, PSM is actually very good. It's just that it's very vicious, very vicious. So, like some of my students, I prepare them so well that they can tackle the PSM. I have at least 6 or 7 of my students that have killed the PSM, right? So I prepare them to do that, which is why I said if you go to the Agile Aficionado site, let me put it in the chat, agileaficionado.com. If you go to agileaficionado.com, you can sign up for Agile training and coaching that will get you in ship shape peak performance, because that's what a lot of my students do. I even had a couple of students, they're crazy. Before they got PMP, they got PSM because they were so well prepared from the Agile Aficionado training, right? So if you come on the Agile Aficionado training and you're looking to take PSM, I'll encourage you to take it. But I usually recommend the order needs to be CSM, PSM, ACP. If your situation is different and you're trying to become a product owner, especially product owner by fire, they just push you off the ledge and they tell you you're now a product owner. If that is like you, then yeah, you might want to take the CSPO earlier, right? You might want to bump that up on your priority scale. All right. Any questions? I don't see any questions. Well, I'm going to say thank you all very much for joining me. I appreciate you. I wish you all the best, whatever you're working on. I hope whatever you're working on results in success. But thank you I'll speak to you again very soon. Take care.